Hey, welcome back. Very excited to talk to this guy who will be going into the Pride of the Lions on October 30th, the homecoming game, Monday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders. We have not had an opportunity to talk to Big Lo since the announcement was made. Lomas Brown, congratulations to you. Thanks so much for the time here on Woodward Sports. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. I appreciate that, my good man. You make the big fella feel wanted. I appreciate that.
Well, you, Lomas, you are wanted. You've been wanted for so long by so many people. It just feels like this is long overdue, but they are doing it now, and I know that's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, it really does, and I'm thankful to the Lions. I'm thankful to the fans. You know, I'm just thankful to my former teammates for being there for us. And man, we had a great run back in the '90s, and it'll be great to see those guys on October the 30th, because that will be alumni game too. So it'll be great to be around those guys again after a long time.
Big Lom, I got a chance to see you on Monday and say congrats, but I'm going to do it again. And I get a chance to see you this evening at the meeting that Tim won't stop texting me about. But Big Lom, man, proud of you, excited. You know, as soon as I saw the news, as soon as I saw your reaction, I think one of the biggest things that we talked about on the show is you can just see how humble and team guy you are, because even as you were watching the video, boy, you're like, all this for me. You're just the epitome of humble, man. You're the epitome of a guy that people should want to be like, man. Love you, and I'm proud to know you, man.
Absolutely. You know the same goes for me, man.
Yeah.
I almost seen you grow up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And stuff, and hanging out with you and your pop. So, bro, you know, I appreciate everything you say about me.
100.
Hey, Lomas, let me ask you something we were talking about. It just feels like the luck for the Lions changing. You know, whether it's, you know, C.J. Gardner-Johnson earlier in camp and Amon-Ra St. Brown, tweak of the ankle, it's no big deal. And now news that Chris Jones is probably going to be out until week 8. Andy Reid says we've had no communication with him, talking about the best defensive player for the Chiefs, one of the best in the league. If he's not going to play, that just feels like the Lions' luck is just improving a little bit every day. What do you make of that?
Oh, man, look, man, I tell you what, it takes every star to line up. It takes everything to go just right to win a Super Bowl and to have good seasons. And you're right, everything kind of has to line up for you. That could be a tremendous break for us going into that first game against Kansas City. Like you said, one of the best defensive linemen in this game. So that can make Frank Ragnow and those guys in the middle of that offense, that could make their job a little easier going in. But, yeah, they definitely got some things in Kansas City, especially with Eric Bieniemy not being there. You know, they got some things that they have to kind of clear out, too, before the first game of the season.
Absolutely right. This is not the exact same Kansas City team that we saw win that Super Bowl against the Eagles last year. Lom, I want to ask you about my position. I want to ask you about the wide receiver position. Last week, Dan Campbell was not excited about the wide receiver position, whether it was Jameson Williams, whether it was Denzel Mims, and whether it was the rest of the guys vying for that 6th spot. What do you make of that wide receiver position? Do you think that we have the guy on the team, or will they have to go elsewhere before the season starts?
Yeah, bro. I wish you could suit it up. I sure wish. You
I lost some weight.
Man, hey, I know. I know. Hey, I'm a little concerned. Not as concerned as I am about the offensive line, the backup offensive line position, but I am concerned about that receiver position because, again, like you're saying, you got Amon-Ra, then you got Khalif Raymond, then it's a big drop-off from that point on. So you're right, and you know we're going to have to rotate 3, 4 receivers, you know, sometimes 5 receivers set. So they're definitely going to have to keep looking at the waiver wire like Dan said. They're always looking, and I think they're going to continue to look throughout this season because I believe, just like you said, Braylon, I don't think they know that they have the receivers on their roster past Solution, past Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's question mark.
Hey, Lomas, it's Maz. Congrats again on the honor. Next stop is Canton for you. That's going to be a done deal, and we'll all be there rooting for you that day. But that said, I wanted to ask you about the preseason. We haven't seen Jared Goff yet. We don't know if we will see him. What's your thought on playing some of the starters here on Friday night?
Well, I appreciate the love, man. And I just had a little interview with Alex Anzalone, and that's what I just asked him. I'm like, Alex, how can you guys get ready to play without playing? I mean, that's just like, it don't even sound like those words go in the same sentence. Getting ready to play without playing. It's just crazy to me, but that's the new NFL, and like he said, they just have to adjust, and be ready. Try to be ready as they can on that first game. But I'm telling you, I don't see how they can do it, because I don't think I could have did it. I really don't think I could have did that. So it's a new way they do things now, and I guess every team is starting from that vantage point, but I just don't see how you get ready to play not playing.
I want to expound on that a little bit, because we sit up here, at least I do. Braylon, only one of us on this desk, Lomas, played professional football, and it wasn't me. But it just feels like from the outside, I see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce playing. I see Russell Wilson playing. You see, Derek Carr play. You see some of these other guys playing. At some point, don't you have to play football so that you can be ready to play football?
Yes, you do. Yes. Man, it's timing issues. And it's not just, everybody just think it's timing issues with the quarterback, but it's not. It's timing issues with your offensive line. Put it this way, you want to know where your quarterback settles at in the pocket. Whether he drops deep, whether he's going to veer to one side or the other side. Those are two things that you pick up in practice. The cadence. Those are things that you hear in practice. Yeah, you could get that, but again, it's different when it's a live situation, when you got a 300-pounder breathe down your neck and your quarterback, and you got 60,000 fans up in the stands, and your quarterback trying to audible to a play, and you got to hear all that. And by the way, that defensive lineman just jumped from a 5 technique to a 4 technique on you.
Talk
so
about
that
it,
changes up everything you do. So yeah, man, it's a lot going to it that a lot of people looking from the outside in, they just don't see it or understand it. But it's a lot. Braylon knows it's a lot.
Yeah, you just heard that from greatness himself, Lomas Brown. Like, he took you inside, and that's how fast that mindset comes, man. You got goosebumps just now thinking about it. I was ready for training camp, man, get a little active. I want to talk about the defensive side for a second, man. Last year, because of how good the draft was, because of Brian Branch, because of Jack Campbell, because of the good moves made in free agency, people just kind of forget how bad the defense was last year. How are you, as somebody that watches every game, as someone as you just watch training camp and you watch all these moves being implemented going into the season, how are you thinking about this defense as compared to last year? Are we good, or is it just we got a good couple free agents?
Hey, that's a great question, man. I do think that the guys that we brought in will help us, Braylon. I do think that that's going to help. But, again, everybody got to remember, Brian Branch is a rookie. It's a learning curve.
Yes,
what
sir.
y'all do to rookies. You already know, especially rookie safeties, too, that's going to try to come down and cover. Man, so you already know what y'all looking at. And same way with a rookie linebacker. If Jack Campbell is the starter, it's different things that you do to those guys. So it is a learning curve, but I do think, man, the talent has gotten so much better on the defensive side of the ball. So I think talent can make up for some of the things that they did wrong last year. Plus, I do think Aaron Glenn, he's been on those guys. He's been the loudest, most vocal coach out there at training camp, the whole training camp. So he's ready. He's going to have them guys on their T's and Q's. So I do expect them to get better. I just can't say how much better they're going to be this year. It's got to be an improvement, right? Because they can't be worse than they were last year. I just can't say how much better they're going to be.
That's real.
Hey, Lo, let's go to the other side of the ball. I want to ask you about the difference in the running back game. Last year, Jamal Williams and I already forgot his name.
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift. Now you got Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. What's your thought on this year's running game versus last year's?
I think we'll be more explosive. I do see that because I do think Montgomery is more explosive than. Oh my God, I'm drawing the blank on our
Jameer Gibbs,
running backs from last year. Yeah, no,
Jamal Anderson, Jamal Williams.
than Jamal that we had last year, and I definitely think that Jameer is definitely on the level of DeAndre Swift, if not better. You know, we have to see, but I definitely think he's operating on the same level as DeAndre. So I think we've improved there. And another area I think we improved, and I love Deuce Staley to death. I do. But I think Scotty Montgomery, he just brings a different voice. He just brings a different philosophy to that running back room. You know, his philosophy is block first, then you get rewarded by touching the ball. And that, so that's a little different. So his whole thing is on protection. Those guys got to be tough enough to protect. And that's a little different from a lot of running back coaches. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the season. But I do expect those guys to be explosive. And look, bro, when you got the number one, and I'm going to go ahead and proclaim it, when you got the number one offensive line in the league, you can plug and play. You can put anybody behind that offensive line and get it done.
How's it compared to the old one in '91 and those teams?
Don't get them started.
Hey, Lomas, let me ask you about Jared Goff, because this is a guy that really seems like he is completely taking control of this football team for 3 years, essentially. For the first 2 years, people have been trying to find his replacement. It doesn't feel like that anymore. What have you seen out of Jared Goff at camp? How much command he has of this offense and this team?
Yeah, total command. Total command. You can see it. And you can just see it in his mannerism. You can see it in how he carries himself out on the football field. He seems to be so much more comfortable with the guys. And when you get comfortable, then you feel a little bit more emboldened. You feel a little bit more like you have a stronger voice, like you were able to say certain things and it's not being perceived the wrong way. And Jared, like you say, has earned that. He has earned that. That's not something that's given to him. He earned that with that team and his teammates. And you can just see that he's right at home. Ben Johnson said it himself that Jared has total control of the offense, total control of it. So, I'm expecting for Jared to put up numbers better than he did last year, and I'm expecting that offense to run at just another level than it did last year, just because of his understanding of it and just because the offense is going to slow down for him, too.
Hey, final thing for you, Lomas, from me. How many spots do you think are up for grabs this week or on Friday? Do you still think there's like 3, 4, 5? What do you think?
Yeah, I could see wide receiver like Braylon said. I could definitely see who else is going to be our 6th, 7th, or 8th offensive lineman. I could see that spot up.
Interior D-line.
That might happen at safety. What about safety, though, Jalen? Stockpile at the safety position. It could be a name that might be unexpected at the safety position, and then definitely the defensive end position. It's definitely going to be somebody we're going to be like, oh, man, they cut him. So, yeah, it's going to be those.
I got some initials, but you know what? I'm not going to say them out loud. I'm going to keep them to myself. The last thing I would say is when I saw that video, man, what was up with you and Pops and everybody in the 80s rocking that mustache, man? I saw the mustache. I was like, man, get rid of that mustache, big long.
Look, bro. I know this is a PG show. That was back, it was back in the day when
the porn stash.
That was the Dirt Diggler.
That's the porn stash.
Dirt Diggler, as we called it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was the big Bush one there, bro. So yeah, that was old school there.
I love it.
Lot of Mungeon Loud nights seeing that mustache.
That's right.
Hey, Lomas, thank you so much, my friend. We cannot thank you enough. We are so happy for you.
Yeah.
And
I'll
we
be
love
there.
you to death. Thanks so much.
Hey, I appreciate you guys.
See you, Lo.
Yeah, we appreciate
Lomas
you too. I'll
Brown,
see you
the
later
great
on tonight, buddy.
Lomas Brown.
Thanks for everything.
one of the great Lions of all time, and of course the analyst on a radio broadcast on October 30th against the Raiders. He's going in to the pride.
How do you not love that guy?
Of the Lions. I've never met one person that didn't like Lomas Brown.
Yeah.
So great.
Not one person
This is true.
that either has met him or not met him. Maybe you just read his name. And everybody loves Lomas.
I should have been paying more attention to Lomas growing up.
Yeah, you should have.
Right, no doubt. Oh man. Good.